Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undefeated podcast.
The only podcast with two undefeated fighters, fam.
Listen, chatting it up. Listen, I'll tell you right now, yeah, if this is your first time rocking with this pod, welcome to this whole brand new experience. We're not your regulars. We're not trying to be boxing pundits. You will never see us with suits ringside doing up commentary. That's not our bag.
Never.
This is the barbershop.
Never. Listen, and I'm telling you right now, Trav, we're going to take them on this audio journey that they weren't ready for. There's going to be bias, fam. There's going to be bits that you say, how can you say that? When you say, how can you say that? It's easy to talk to us. We're here every Monday. Call in. If you don't like something, call in. Have your say. But, bro, we need to get to this boxing talk today, fam.
Yeah, we do still. All right, let's slap through the tail of the tape. What's your tail of the tape, bro?
Yeah, I'm 0-0, fam. Never fought, never lost. If I did, someone gets knocked out and it's not me. Simple as that, bruv. My knockout rate would be mad if I was allowed to fight, but VADA have said no. All these sanctioning boards.
VADA, why?
All of them.
Why?
VADA said
you know that's the drug testing.
I know. They're saying it looks like I'm on drugs. That's what my power's looking like. They're saying there's no way you're doing what you're doing. It has to be drugs. I said, look, like, again, I'm like that's the cement.
That's what I'm about to say. I was about to say that.
Because the metabolics and the power. Yeah.
They're saying the testosterone don't make sense.
My testosterone is not making sense. So they said, you know what, don't fight. And I said, I'll follow the guidelines.
So what's your estrogen level saying, bro?
Again, it's mad low in it because testosterone is just mad high, fam.
Say no more, fam.
That's what I'm saying. So anyway, listen, that's my tail of the tape. Talk to me, bro. What you say?
Bro, what can I say? 100% victory. Yeah? It's me, Floyd, Kalsagi. Yeah? Remember these three names. Undefeated brothers across our eras. Yeah? I boast a record of 2-0 with a 50% knockout rate. That means half the men entered the ring with me. They left on their backs, bro. Insane stats.
Bro, them stats are crazy. I want to let you know that.
HOF is above my bed. HOF is above my bed.
Hall of Fame fight.
Come on now.
I'm surprised you didn't say Ward. How come you didn't put Ward in there with you lot? Or you just thought like it wasn't?
No, I just feel like no, it's not. It's nothing against Ward. I mean, he's a hell of a fighter. You know, he a good little fighter.
But you can put yourself in a special category with the rest of the men.
Yeah, just in terms of guys, what we did in our eras. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't take anything away from what Ward did in his career. You know, he did amazing things. You know what I'm saying? I seen him fight. But it was different. That's all. I just feel like it was different.
I hear you. Listen, I want to get into the Conor Ben and the stuff with Chris Eubank Jr. But I think it'll be wrong to just jump into that without jumping into what I'll say is probably one of the best interviews I've ever seen.
Man,
Chris Eubank Jr. give ever. Like it's the 100%. Literally. Was it the CEO? There's something of a CEO.
Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett, I think his name is.
Incredible, like, incredible. Again, you've never seen. Make sure you go and watch it after this pod. Make sure you go check it out. This is the most honest and the most real I've ever seen. Chris Eubank Jr. And it kind of made me not just have respect for his journey, but it helps me for where I'm going to put this fight and what he's doing in his career. It helps me just understand the man, the fighter, way more.
Big time.
Yeah, there's still things. There's still delusion. I'll have to be honest and say it's still, yes, you've had 32 bouts and you've been in there, but it's like you're not a champion in terms of your way, like, but in terms of what you've achieved in life, it's very impressive. It's very impressive. So you're still a champion just in life. Any of these boxers that really lace them up and get to some of the stage that he's at, and he didn't have to be there, you have to rate that. It's guaranteed. But there is delusion in how he sees it in terms of what he's achieved in boxing, because I would say there's still so much more.
There's so much more for him to do.
There's so much more for him to do, and he's running, and you can hear him talking about, how the punches will hurt a bit more. And you can tell basically he just got older.
Yeah.
He's got older, and the achievements.
It's when he started talking about the memory, bro. When he started
Yeah.
talking about the difficulties with memory now, for me, when I saw that part of the segment, he's basically saying how he struggles to remember things, and he attributes that down to getting hit in the head. So he's like, there's times where he'll see someone and be like, "What's this guy's name again?" And he'd be trying to work it out. He goes, "It sounds embarrassing, but I spent like a whole day one time thinking about what this guy's name was before I got it."
Yeah.
And he has all these brain games on his phone where he does, to exercise and try and keep his memory sharp. Now, for me, when I saw that, like, it made me think about Eubank Sr., right? And what that must have been like for the child in the family when Eubank Sr. experiences a Michael Watson, right? The fight where, it changed him forever. It changed Michael Watson forever. He was brain damaged and, he had to live his life a certain way after that. Eubank Sr. wasn't the same after that either. He just wasn't knocking guys out. He never had that vim anymore. It was gone, right? So imagine you grow up and you've seen the effects of all of this. You start to feel these things happen. Senior doesn't seem as if he's as close to Eubank Jr. today, but I feel like if you're concerned with getting hit in the head because your memory's going and you're trying to keep that sharp, there's a part of you that's think, okay, maybe the changing of style wasn't just because he's with Roy. Maybe it's now a case of I can't keep fighting like how I've been fighting because that version gets hit.
I never picked up that part when he was talking about getting in the head. I thought he was more coming at it from a part of that's just a part and parcel of like because he spoke about his friends that drink and stuff, and he doesn't drink, and he's saying that how
he
can lose brain cells from that. I didn't think he spoke of it from a negative.
It's not necessarily that, but it's like when he's talking about the wider lens of life now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a couple of points that kind of lead me down this road is where it's like when I used to take pictures back in the day, I was always like mad stoic because I was always just only focusing on boxing and not looking weak. So it's like as he's gotten older, he's more emotional, more aware of certain things. I look at that and I'm like, this kind of makes me feel like there's a wider lens for you now. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like getting hit in those same ways, not to say that he's going to be less intense or less serious about his craft, but it's just more a case of I want to do things slightly differently to avoid my post-boxing life being too gravely affected.
He's aware.
Yeah, he's aware. That's the word.
More aware now, and again, not like he lives in because he didn't seem regretful. It just seemed like it was someone that is just experienced a thing that big life moment that shifted everything. And down to how I take pictures, down to making sure in terms of the moment that he spent with not seeing his brother, right, and wanting to be a parent. Now you could just see someone like you could just see a grown man sitting down, and he's probably always been on this wavelength, but he's never given this side of him because there's one tell that he did which I thought was pretty great, right? He speaks about boxing being you have your good guys, you have your bad guys, you have the heroes, that's the bad guys. The people in the middle just don't get what they need, and we know. Me and you've been saying it for a long time. You're the middleman. Them are forgetful. The middleman, we know who knows them. Like you're either a hero, you're not. And it's like you have to kind of work out what type of career are you trying to have. Like when we look at AJ hero, Fury was a bad guy for a while, kind of switched into a hero. Deontay Wilder, bad guy.
Hero in defeat.
Yeah, Mayweather, bad guy. There's so you just name. I don't. Did we mention Canelo? What is Canelo? Canelo
is a hero. He's a hero.
English speaking, Canelo is different.
English, yeah. Before he was just like just nice guy, like just good vibes because we didn't really connect with him like that. But now the personalities come. English speaking Canelo, I don't know. He kind of plays with both sides.
Giving us Wolverine. You know what I mean?
Big fact.
We don't know what you're on. But again, you have to connect with the you have to connect. And that's one thing that he does well. He does connect with it where you just want to hate him.
It's true. It's very true.
And that's
the
that's
fact
gonna that helps his career. That's helpful.
I like that he sussed it out early on in terms of dealing with trolls. You know, people saying all these horrible things to man, and he's like, okay, no, this is the role you guys play, and I have to accept that. So I have to play my role and just do it like this. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, cool. This is someone who's definitely very switched on. But it does make me think certain things though, because it's like he is super switched on because he clearly knows the science behind everything he's doing. But when I look at his career, I'm like, how switched on are you though? Like,
thank you. And that's, you just hit the nail on the head there, because when you talk about him being switched on and stuff, my thing comes into, you know, when you say trolls are all chatting shit, there was a part of him that there was a moment when he said in his career when he say, big man, you got to do something about your trainer. It can't take you this long to get a trainer. And the trolls were saying, look, how long are you going to be next gen? Let's think of some of the things that trolls throw at him. Next gen. Big man, you've been next gen forever. When is the moment? Is that trolling or is that fair critique? And then the next one you say to yourself is, gone. What is that?
No, it's one of those things where it's like, it's rooted in fair critique, but put into the hands of a troll, it comes across like I just get the chance to hate. That makes sense. Do you know what I mean? But it's one of the ones where if your mind is wired to see criticism a certain way, everybody's a troll, regardless of the message. Like we've criticized certain things in his career bare times. He could just watch us and go, these men are haters, and that, you know what I mean? It could just be one of those things. But we're not haters.
Yeah, but then that's what I'm saying. So it's trying to say, even though he's quite switched on, you say to yourself, well, you played around with his career is being played around with, you know. And then I asked myself, what's important to him? And I was watching the interview to really understand what's important. And obviously the first thing he said was, well, the money, the big fights. Like, then he mentioned legacy at the end, but it was big fights first, then legacy, which kind of like explains a bit more of his career. Like I don't know. I feel like he feels like he's been the champion that he needed to be. You know, he said, I've already been a champion.
Yeah, he's talking about the IBO. The IBO, bro.
I said, wait.
That made me uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable
and that's
watching that interview.
There you go. That's for me, not like, I don't want to call someone delusional because it's still a belt in it. Yeah, but that's not the belt that's not the belt in it.
That belt is like a hotel. It's like a hotel mint, bro. You get it because you've done something else. Like, I've paid for this hotel. There's a little complimentary mint there. You win all the other straps, by default, you get that one as well. That's how that belt moves around. There ain't no mandatories there. So it's nuts that you would speak about the IBO in that way. Bro, let's be real here. Bro, it is what it is, fam. Man said, look, thank you for staying here. There you go, boom, with your receipt. That one. So for me, it is nuts. That's why people were reacting the way they were reacting when he was going around with that belt in the club and that, letting girls pose with it. It was like, yeah, that belt ain't really where that happens.
Not really the belt that you get that one off.
That's why I want to see him. That's why I always say I want to see him get a real belt, because when he does, please believe everything we saw with the other belt, supercharged and put petrol on it. It's going to be different.
But then this is the problem is, if he's already feels accomplished in terms of what he's done, because even instead that moment about what he's done in boxing and talking about his dad, the legacies are completely different in terms of what his dad was to the game. And yes, again, what you fought against, obviously, like, being rich and going to fight is crazy. Like, he could have chose any other lifestyle and he chose this one. So he's already a step above that. Like, you're not uncomfortable. You're not fighting out of pure desperation and need. You're just fighting because you want to. It's a big decision, you know, and to do it that many times, to have that many bouts, you can only respect it. Like, so you can respect the career, but then you say to yourself, it's just been moments of the guidance has been off, in a sense. So you say to yourself, probably when he was ready, when he was going to fight Triple G the first time, it should have happened.
Yeah,
should have done that.
That's Spike Sullivan. That's Spike Sullivan version.
Yeah, and it's like and it's like, or we've gone for certain bags, and yes, I don't know. Obviously, financially, they should be good, right? And his dad's trying to make up for all the mistakes that was done in his career. But even then, he had the ITV thing when ITV wanted to go into box office and stuff, and that just fell flat in his face.
Yeah.
We're now
it's weird.
Wasserman, like, it's so weird to work out what the plan is, then even the different weight classes. When we saw him in Vegas, he wasn't even talking about that plan in that thing. He changed weight classes again, and then after it's been so stop start, so like, for all the fundamentals he has and the understanding that he has of boxing, you feel that it was almost a missed opportunity for what you can squeeze out of this talent. And now he becomes 32, and now you're saying to yourself, because he's going to do this fight, he's going to boil down to what God knows what weight that they're deciding to have this fight at. And then he's got to get back. So it's like Liam Smith is waiting in the wings. It just doesn't, again, as a career, it's hard to, it's very hard to understand. But I do have respect for him. I do have respect for him.
I've always had respect for him and Conor Ben. Like, you know, I said on older pods, it's like I relate to that whole thing of following the footsteps of your parent and having that pressure. So it's like, that's why I kind of always root for these men to succeed. Now, I think for me, there's a part of, I feel like there's a way it should be done though. And if I kind of compare my experience, like my mom was very much like, you know, a distant mentor in a lot of ways, in terms of, I'll talk you through the game, but I'm going to send you out. You're going to go and do it. You are going to go and experience it. And I'm going to stand back and watch you get all the experience points that you need to learn. If you need my advice, I'll give it to you, but you got to go and do it. Whereas I feel like Nigel Ben has done a very similar thing with Conor. He's like, you're going to follow it? All right. Well, this is what you're going to have to do. Go and do it. And I'm going to be here because I'm living my life. You're going to go over there and do it. And I'll pop in when it's time. When, you know what I mean? When the time makes sense. Eubank Jr., out of, you know, the love for your child and sometimes the fear of what's out there, said, you come with me. You stand here. I'll stand in front of you. I'll talk for you. I will deal with them. You just focus on boxing. Now, and I think that hindered his development as a man and as a fighter, because when he speaks about his personality, there's times where you see him back in the day and it's like stoic pose, just looking into the camera, robotic almost. And you think, he's playing up to it. He's in that interview revealed he weren't playing those times. He didn't know how to deal with this part of it. So then his dad was like, don't worry, this is the part where they love me. So I'll keep doing it. And as time's gone on, him as a man is like, I can't be out here with my dad like this. Do you know what I mean? He says it in not the direct words, but he's like, I can speak for myself. So his development as a personality is late. Whereas you compare that to Conor and you start to say, yo, bro, this guy found his voice mad early. Him and Senior having back and forths at the presser just because the Senior wanted to give him advice. He's like, your dad should be around. Who are you talking about? Say my dad should be around. You having a look? Like, bro, he was on it. So the man that we see now is not new. This ain't new Conor. Conor been this man. It's just that the platform got bigger.
Do you worry that could be like something, because one could have a different reaction, because you could say someone could feel like an imposter. Like, so you know how Conor just goes off and he's like, I need to, because Conor reminds us at every turn, I'm real. And I'm ready.
That's right.
But say that, that's
the
a reaction. That could be a reaction to feeling the need to prove himself, if that makes sense.
Of course, that's exactly what it is. He's got that chip on his shoulder where it's like, I'm rich. I've come from my dad. You lot know Nigel Ben, but don't think you're gonna look at me as a speed bump. I'm Conor Ben. Like, he will not allow you to bypass him. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas I think because he knows that, he's like, no, I've got to prove myself so you don't try and run this little narrative on my name. Whereas Eubank is very much come on now, you don't know what I do. And it's like, it makes us go, but we don't know what you do. we've seen you do something, but it's not hit that thing yet. Do you know what I mean? So that's where the personalities have come. And I think what's happened is because his dad's been so close, you can sometimes inherit behavior from someone that's close by. You know, a certain man, they got a hench brethren and they're used to walking around with him and how people are. So when he's by himself now, he's thinking, "You man, move," and they're like, "Brother, you're by yourself, my guy. Like, don't talk to me like that. Yeah, your big brother's not here today, bro." Do you see what I'm saying? So I think with Eubank, he's tried to almost have that Eubank energy when it's like, yeah, but your dad had 16 title defenses though. Like he held that belt and he made that his. Fair enough, he didn't go America, but he beat Nigel Ben. Nigel Ben did go America. So that validates a lot of his career with that rivalry.
And his chin was chinning. End of the day, you put him in fights where you say to yourself, how? And again, he had the one of the best partners to define his era. You know, you talk about an era that, yes, he didn't go to America, but we're cool because we got Nigel Ben. We had the best partner for him. For him to say, I'm that guy.
He beat Michael Watson twice. That's not light. Like I felt like Michael Watson won the first fight at Eubank, and I felt like Michael Watson was better than both of those guys, both Eubank and Ben. I think he even beat Nigel Ben. Do you know what I mean? And Ben never avenged it. He didn't want that again. He went another route. So for me, you still have to. Eubank Senior's career has those moments in there still, but it's like Eubank Jr. only really has the Billy Joel Saunders thing to come back to. The George Groves one, you should have beaten end of the road George Groves. That was your time.
Yeah.
Beat the James DeGale. James DeGale is the only name on the resume realistically. I mean, Spike Sullivan is no pushover either. There's a couple moments. You see what I'm saying? There's a couple moments where it's like, okay, now you're ready for the top. Take the shot. You haven't taken the
Billy
shot.
Joe Saunders, don't get it twisted, because Billy Joe Saunders being there is perfect. Because both of them, I like Billy Joe, obviously champion. You know, he's done what he needs to do when he did it, right? Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, the Canelo one didn't work out or didn't go the way he needed to go, but he's the champion. You know,
he's still been in the mix and had a belt.
He had a belt.
Yeah.
Now, if these two mix up again, even without a belt, it's still special. It's still it has, because they just been at each other. Again, this is your dance partner. This is the guy that you're meant to really be mixing up with. It's him more than it is Conor. I get the Conor thing because, again, it's just two families and it's a family war. It's a legacy war. So I'm all in.
100%, man.
You man have at it. But when we step out of this, go ahead.
You got to go and do something for real with Billy Joe, or just keep it moving and try and get a belt. But what I found interesting, right, and was quite a touching moment in that interview is when he talked about his brother. And what that experience was like. Do you know what I mean? Especially when he mentions that he was actually in Dubai and just chose not to see anyone. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't get to see his brother for that time. And it just kind of just like, you know what? It does those moments, those real moments when they happen. Because obviously when we look at the boxing timeline, somebody could have been on his case about when you're gonna announce your next fight, when you're gonna do this and that and da. But it's like, bro, I'm going through such a real moment right now. Like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? And it's always nice when a fighter lets you in, especially when their demeanor is like Eubank's. Do you know what I mean? You see a lot of Eubank Senior in Junior. There's a one-track mind focus that they have. Like when Eubank Senior talks about the Warriors Code, like imagine that man raised you. So your emotional development, his emotional development was very much like a second nature type thing. Because you don't have time to be emotional in the ring. Do you know what I mean?
It sounded like they didn't really explore their feelings. That was one thing that was coming out when he said this. Right, when he talked about his dad, he said, "Right, feelings wise, not like it reminded me of how me and my dad's relationship is. I think theirs is probably a bit more further down the line, but then it sounded one of respect, duty. It sounded that kind of relationship, and it was like." And honor and wanting to prove something, because when you deep it, his dad didn't want him to fight. His dad said,
"That's right.
I don't think you're hard enough, or they'll deal with you." And you can't say that to your son on any given Sunday,
bro.
That's not what you're like. You just can't say that to you in it. And he's thinking, wow, like, and even when my man tries to give him like a layup and say, "Oh, was your dad doing that, knowing you'll become this?" And he sat down with him. He's like, No.
No.
Like, that's what he sat down with me and said, nah, it wasn't that. And you could tell that yes, I know he loves his dad. He honors his dad, right? But you could just tell that feelings wise, they haven't got into that. And they hadn't got into, when he's talking about a woman, him looking for someone that
that's right,
doesn't have that much feelings or isn't, it's like,
requirement.
Wait,
A
what are you looking
requirement
for?
for feelings. What? Where are you hoping to find that? A woman who doesn't require that you have access to your feelings, bro. You're looking for very light level relationships, bro. That's crazy.
You're looking for an absolute unicorn that doesn't know you're famous, doesn't know
Yeah.
anything about you.
She doesn't like to talk.
But again, what people, I
you
implore you to watch it. Go on.
Yeah, just to go back to, there's a comment which I thought was really poignant, is when someone said, one thing about raising kids is that you can tell them what to do and they'll seldom ever listen, but boy will they copy your actions. And he goes, Junior is so much like Senior and he doesn't realize it. Do you know what I mean? And I watched it and I was thinking to myself, of course he is. Of course he is. The emotional setup, the dedication to the craft at any cost, it seems like. So when he speaks about his personal life and relationships, he say, well, Senior would have had his issues too. Do you know what I mean? Senior is, obviously we're not trying to be on some gossip with the podcast team, but you look at, like, say, marriage history and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, there's been a lot of breakdowns. Do you know what I mean? And new partners going into different stages in life, and it's like, this is because that side of you, it takes its toll. That type of dedication to the thing takes its toll, where you don't want to juggle any other plates. It's just the Warriors.
Yeah, he said he wants to have a child after. He said he probably wants to have a child at the end of his boxing career. That's how he always imagined it. It's so funny because he talked about having a child. This is what made me laugh. It made me chuckle. He talked about having a child like he spoke about having a title fight. Maybe that will come up. He's talking about
for real.
Like he was like, I am found, like, and he's talking about a potential battle, fam.
That's hilarious.
Like, the way he sees life is interesting.
Something else. But then let's go straight into the other side. Conor, family man. I think he might even be married already. I don't know if he's married, but him and his missus and his son from early. He's like, yo, this is what it's all about. Family. Guy tears up when he thinks about his sister back home in Australia, and he's not there to defend her in his post fight. Very different men. You look at Nigel Ben back in the day, bro. Nigel Ben, heart on his sleeve. They are the people. They are literally, bro, 100%. They are literally the perfect opposites. He's like militant, focused, no emotion, Warriors code, and my man's like, of course I have. What are you talking about? Like, he's so ready.
I remember one guy had the monocle as well, looking like he was an upperclassman and everything. So them two, their era of what they were, how different they were. Yeah. And for the modern, the everyday man is gonna be in Nigel Ben's corner at every single time in the build up to this one, because he's saying he represents me. Now, obviously, these two meeting now is, and especially everything that's happened in the past, it puts us in the best. It puts us in the best scenario, best situation, because no one's getting to bed after this fight. No, the loser is gonna hurt the loser a lot. I know it almost has the capacity to really break the loser. Are you with me? Like, in terms
of
a
lot on this one.
Everything is on it, bro. Because let's be honest, there's still a part of Chris Eubank Jr. that's still searching for his dad to say,
I respect it.
Undefeated. And there's still a part of, because when you've gone after great men, you need to do something great for them to say, rah, is that you? You know what I mean? I see it. Yeah. And yes, you can be my son. So there's always a thing in me as a parent that says anything my child does is amazing, right? But then there's moments when they do something that's above average, and you say, what, my child did that. And they're all kind of looking for that moment in their careers, I would say.
100%, bro.
Are you with me?
And it's the thing, as the recipient of it, you'll know when it's happened. You'll know when that respect has come. because it feels different to any other praise you've ever had in your life. Do you see what I'm
My
saying?
one came with my mum. My one came with my mum when I was getting married. I was getting married, and I remember my mum always gets jewelry. Like she goes to Italy, like she always gets jewelry, right? And I was like, Mum, I'm gonna get married. And she was like, and when I became a parent as well, 2 times, she said, I'm gonna go get you a ring. Don't worry, give me some money. I goes, no, you can't get me the ring. I'm going to get the ring. She's like, what do you mean? I said, Mum, trust me, the ring I get is gonna be insane. Obviously, I've designed my wife's ring, everything. It's like, it's proper. And it was like probably my most expensive item I bought to date, right? But there was a thing of
same.
Yeah, I
It's
got
true,
a breakaway.
the biggest transaction.
Bro, the biggest transaction ever for me. But then it was there was something of saying, no, it's time now for me to step up and become a man. And it was almost a pushback to say, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm gonna do it, and this is how it's going. Everybody follow me. Are you with me? I think there's moments like that where they look back and say, oh, we don't need to hold his hand anymore. He's making great decisions, like big decisions. And all we can say now is, I think we've done our job. You know, when those moments there, or if I said when I've spoken to my dad and when I was talking about moving out, and he's like, he wanted me to talk to him and have a real conversation with him. He wasn't really happy with my decision at the time, but I was like, Dad, I'm not asking you for permission. I'm going to do this. I'm just telling you I'm doing this. And there was that moment of, you know what I mean? Like, okay, he's here. This is it. This is my son is now talking to me as a man. You know what I mean? And I think, and there are lighter moments, but I know, because I'm not a boxer, I'm not on the world stage. I know now he gets excited when I win awards and stuff, but I think those more life moments of, I've come to this country as a first generation immigrant, and look what my son's achieved is the moment for me, really.
100%, bro. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's like I've always like developed when I do like a solo one-man show. I've always over the years, like the first one my mom directed, I think the second 2 and 3 she even directed as well. Do you know what I mean? And then the last one I did, Bloomsbury, and this one recently, I did those by myself. Like just start to finish, it was just me. And the biggest moment is afterwards when she's seen it and she's gone, I've got no notes. Like, you have to understand how significant that is for the journey that we've had, because, bro, after every show, and I play the video, what the feedback, notes, breakdown, this and that. This has been for years, and it was like, no notes. Like, she's just like, I'm coming to see your show, and I just want to watch. Like, and I'm just like, bro, I'm really out here, like, I'm really.
That must have been a big moment. That's a big. No notes is
huge moment, bro. Like, that's one of the things. It's like, with this craft I've started after you. For you to tell me no notes, I'm like, I'm really standing up now. I'm really standing on my. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
do you know what's so funny about the road? Because I'm on the road that's not traveled. No one in my family's traveled this road at all. Like, no one. Everyone's an account. Yeah. So to my family, I'm just every day they see me announcing something, I just look like a trailblazer. Like,
yeah.
I look like a trailblazer, bro. Like, whoa. And sometimes the basic announcements as well. I'm like,
fam, listen,
it's the best, right? So now, if my daughter comes and says she wants to do this, what I do, I've done the road now. So now she's gonna have to live up, and I'm gonna be there guiding it and saying, hey, until a moment comes, right? Which is, so it's so interesting. You've got the proper parallel of what they have, but then just imagine on this journey, there was someone, just to pull it back to boxing. Just imagine on the journey, there was someone that your mum just could never get the hell out of here in boxing. I mean, comedy, she just couldn't deal with them. And then after they had a child, and that child is saying, listen, Chad, you're not getting that.
Understand, bro, the smoke it would be for this every time. You'd never be able to get past that and be like, let me grow past that. I'm bigger than that now. You'd never.
Yeah. And this is why it's amazing. But again, listen, Conor Ben,
How do you see this
Eubank
fight
Jr.,
going, bro?
it's gonna be the. You know what? Funny enough, after the interview, yeah, I just feel like Chris Eubank Jr. can win it. And the reason why, like, mentality wise, he will not quit. He will not give up. He will not, like, he will refuse, even when it's going bad and he's not looking good. Like, Conor's so new, he's so fresh in this thing. And yes, he's been getting guys the hell out of here very quickly. But you've said it many a times. No one knocks out Chris Eubank Jr. He ain't going down like that. So then you say to yourself, well, he ain't. If you talk about will to fight and will to carry on, he ain't quitting. That's for sure. That's one thing we can guarantee. He ain't quitting. Now you see for Conor, in terms of, unfortunately in his career, because it's so fresh, he hasn't had the long. I'm talking many rounds, and yes, because he's been mashing man up, but he hasn't had rounds. So there's a thing where you say, well, I don't know what you look like when the fight gets long, or when it's not going your way, or when you're frustrated. I've never seen you in this position yet, because you're so new. So this is where Chris Eubank Jr. has a light advantage, and the weight thing, you never know. Like, I don't want to believe that he isn't in shape, or he can't throw as many punches as he used to. Like, I'm edging towards it being, because you got to say Conor's got to be happy building up to that weight as well and be comfortable. Right. They're both going to be comfortable in terms of, this is none of them out their natural way. So they both follow that comfort.
I feel like it takes more away from Eubank Jr. to lose weight than it does for Conor to gain. Do you know what I mean? Like, Eubank Jr. is proper lean at his weight. So to cut out, he's literally going into muscle to lose in this fight. That's my main concern for him. But it's like, the reason why I feel like Conor could get this one done, and I don't necessarily scream KO, is just that Conor has an ability to, he's getting better fight by fight, by the way. Like, he stays in the gym. You can see the improvements every single fight.
Both of them stay in the gym, though, is what you have to say. Both of them.
They do, but they don't do the same things in the gym. Like, for me, Eubank Jr. has been a gym buddy for a long time and not improved. Right? Now, under Roy, he's almost hit the reset and said, I'm going to be someone completely different now. So we're seeing a very different type of situation for Eubank, whereas Conor, he knows who he is and what he is. And he knows that, when I get out there, I'm going to be Conor Ben. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do this. Whereas Eubank, we're still trying to figure out what his identity is. And I think the way Tibbs, is it Tibbs? Not Tibbs. Tony, what's Conor Ben's trainer's name? Sims, that's it. Sims.
Tony.
Yeah, exactly. Tony Sims and Conor together, they're a great team. I think Conor comes out and he can get it done over 12 rounds.
Again, it's gonna be a fight where they're not gonna follow the rules. They're gonna meet each other in the middle of the ring. Have to. Egos are gonna collide. Both can hit. Who hits the hardest? Now you got to talk about time.
Look at accuracy. Let's look at accuracy.
But will your accuracy be, again, at a different way?
Eubank Jr. misses.
Is comfortable?
Eubank Jr. misses a lot of bangs, bro. Conor Ben is a lot sharper to me.
But the couple of times we see him under Roy, the first one was ridiculous. He was fully trying to be Roy Jones Jr. Part 2.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing.
It was that Marcus Morrison fight.
The second time against the Welsh guy, you saw it was a better performance. Unfortunately for him, because look how quick it was going to end. And unfortunately, they see it as they say something was wrong with his arm. I'm going to choose to believe that, right? Okay. But he has improved. Even in that short space of time with Roy Jones, there has been improvement. And it's the first coach that he's finally really listening to. So it's almost when Chisora stopped and said, when he really linked up with Hay, and then became this new version of himself. So who's to not say that Eubank, now with this coach, and this is the first coach he's actually listens to, respects, wants to please. Not his dad, and his dad is not in the mix. His dad is removed from that. These are all things that we've all said. These are all ingredients that you say, you know what, with this, you should have, this should equal to this. Now, the only thing, while it's hard for us to really get behind it, is because we're doing this weight thing. We don't know what you're doing, but we still respect this fight. I honestly believe that because of experience, because of just being there and it going bad, he has the advantage there. Yeah, shredding down is going to be a problem, but I just think that his while it's longevity, but not like really amazing stuff, he's had more bigger nights. He's had Billy Joe Saunders, you know. So
Groves, the Gale.
Yeah, he's had Groves. He's had some arduous nights where look at the names that Conor's fought.
But could you argue that even though he's not had the bigger nights, the fact that he's got so much profile, his nights are big anyway. So he knows what it's like to walk out into a big arena and it's game time. He knows what that feels like. He's the guy for those moments. He doesn't start a fight tentative. He never really looks nervous. He comes in and it's like straight out the gate, I'm so on it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you see fighters taking the distance.
You got Chris Van Herden is not gonna get you prepared for nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, unfortunately, like then you go Algieri, it's not gonna do Granados, Vargas, even Formella. You say to yourself, like that's the one where you say, all right, okay, but the thing there's nothing in there. Carry on.
He's still on his way up in that division, so it's like these are like different types of tests that pose different problems. Do you know what I mean? And now we're starting to see him develop a rhythm for how he's dealing with them. He's knocking them out. Do you know what I mean? And ones that he doesn't knock out, you see him next fight come in and just a bit more adjustment, a bit more that he's learned now. So it's like he's on that journey, whereas Eubank is on a bit of a stale place where he is. Yeah, you know what I mean, so it's a weird one where you got this guy coming up and figuring this thing out, and this guy's at a bit of a plateau. So it's like, how are they going to meet on this particular one? Because what could happen is he comes in, say Conor Ben comes in and beats Eubank, his trajectory goes sky high. We say, oh, this he's built different. Eubank's career is close to finished at that point. If that happens, it's really bad for Eubank to lose. Conor Ben loses to Eubank Jr.
No, because it's almost, it goes back to the argument that you make to me about AJ and how he still has fights that he can have. He's still a big name and still a draw. In terms
AJ's a unified world champ, a 2-time unified world champ, and he's carried the sport for years. It's different,
but
bro.
You don't think his name fighting Eubank still has a draw because people call him out? Like he'll get called out from.
If Eubank Jr. loses to a welterweight, it's really bad, bro. Like it's bad enough, AJ.
I'm with you. Boxing's so shameless that people are gonna call him out. Like names that you see, bro, why'd you do that for? Like he will still, because they still, one thing that you know, he can sell out a light or two. He'll sell it out if he has to. Like because he can still put bums on seats. People are still gonna watch him fight. Are you with me? So I can imagine him losing, and while I would like to say it'll probably hurt him more from a professional standpoint, and oh my god, I let everybody down. But I still see him going out and having some real interesting fights. I'll not even put the Triple G fight away from him. I would have put Smith past him. I wouldn't even put Billy Joe Saunders. I still see 3 or 4 fights. Billy Joe could see him lose and call him out the next day. Yeah, that's how mad it is. You know, in terms of this, the shamelessness of boxing will allow for Billy Joe to do something like that.
Remember when Dillian White called out David Haye as he was walking out the ring from the Bellew fight? Bro, big Tony Bellew Haye too. And Dillian White is like, yeah, let's go. I'm like...
Did you not see my leg?
Bro, no, it wasn't even... Yeah, it was the second one. Whereas, like, it was the knockout. He's like... I remember David Haye talked about it in an interview. I think it was Michelle Joy Phelps. He's like, yeah, I didn't understand. What the hell was that? Like, call him out. I don't understand. It makes no sense.
Bro,
that was the weirdest.
Boxing is shameless because, again, all of these men are sharks, innit? And if they smell blood, they're going for it, bro. Like, as soon as they say, raw, chicken armor, blood, let's go. And they all want it.
Yeah.
That's the game. Unfortunately, so now I actually honestly now with what that argument, because I remember that argument being there and thinking, well, there's always another fight. There's always a potential battle, especially when Chisora just made it so clear and said, look, like
if I
F1 has
retire,
to
exactly,
it has to
it don't make
continue.
sense.
You
No,
know,
it's real.
so but it's just the mindset is and the thing was arguing before is just it's the mindset of will this loss be so devastating to one or two? To who needs the win more? Who do you reckon?
Eubank,
Like, because you know when we said Brooke needed it more.
Eubank.
Who do you reckon? Eubank, yeah.
He needs a big night that he comes out on top of. He needs it badly right now in his career. He can't wheel out another random opponent and then give that to us and then win and tell us that he didn't knock him out because he was like trying to flex. Like it's not gonna work again. He needs a real name.
You know what's so funny about it? Because even though you say Eubank, yeah, it like from a family point, they can't beat us again. Conor has to win. Do you know? That's see how
yeah. Oh yeah.
They beat us so many times. You have to win, son. You have to do it. We're gonna be the disappointed Bens for it. We'll be the disappointed Bens.
You have to balance it up because it's one win and one draw with the dads, and the world believe. Well, I say the world, but I believe Nigel Ben should have won that fight. They robbed him basically.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's a draw. So it's one win, one draw. Conor Ben, you got to level this thing up.
That doesn't matter. No, but that doesn't matter, right? As far as even if you look back, you just say because even when I look back after all this time, I say, well, he won that thing, whatever, how it went, he was the winner. Period. Yeah,
that's true.
He fought once, it was a draw. Do you know what I mean? But I won. Like in the end, I won. You know, and that's the piece. So you got to say to yourself, now your son's come. Ben has to win this.
How do you feel about the rehydration clause?
What are they saying? What's exactly been said?
They're saying that the fight is going to be at 155 or 156, but they're having issues with the hydration clause. For me, I look at the hydration clause thing and I'm like, you know, maybe it'd be good to hear from somebody who's really expert on this thing. But for me, I'm like, bro, once he's made weight, he's completed his obligation for this fight. Whatever he rehydrates to, bro, you do the same thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, but no, because I could balloon though, and it wouldn't be fair, innit? I could get to a weight where, and you can't go crazy. You won't get there, but there's enough time in it for me to really be a bit comfortable to go into this fight looking wham. Like, yes, that the chances of that is light, but so is there a stipulation done from Conor's team?
That's what they're pushing. I think both of them are fight. Naturally, I think Eubank is going to be like, I don't want no limit on the rehydration, and Conor's like, nah, you can't balloon to a madness. So it seems like that's going to be where it's going to go in it. Like, don't tell me you're going to come in at 172, bro. Like, I'm not hearing this. Some man go mad. Maidana did a madness against Floyd. Go on.
There you go. I heard a madness. My brother from Sky, oh man, his name's he does the gloves are off. Johnny Nelson. Yeah, he was basically saying that can DAZN really afford Ben versus Eubank Jr. And I was thinking, right, that's the first time that I've heard a Sky person
talk on it directly.
Talk on it direct. I thought, right, this is insane. You know me, us lot have been monitoring the beef for a long time.
You know, it's like
that was the shots to change.
It's like you're out in the club, yeah, you're enjoying. You know you're a money man. This is light for you. And you see someone come in and like you got the champagne and the lights are coming, but you see the lights over there now. And you're looking at them thinking, your peas ain't really like that, are they? You're like, is he? So you're like, you order another one just to see if he can do it. And he's still going. So you look at him thinking, he's gonna be stressed this Friday, you know. So that sounds like that's what Johnny's doing. Johnny's like, you lot got peas like that? All right.
Yeah. It's massive. And you think about the money. Because is that a DAZN box office? That's a DAZN box office fight.
I think it's definitely going to be because they've done. I think they're doing box office for the KSI fight, which is which is not the first. It's not the one you want to roll out pay-per-view on. To be honest with you, like
Who's
I
KSI
understand
fighting? Sorry, I'm not
some
aware.
next brother called Abby. Like apparently he beat up Deji in Deji's last fight. So this is why I knew I should have gone after Deji, fam. That's the route. That's how I would have got the KSI scrap.
Everyone's beating up Deji though, so it's
Deji's the path though. You go in, smoke his brother, and just say, "Listen, I just smashed up one of your family. What are you gonna do about it?" Do you know what I mean? That would have got him out. It's gone now, but yeah.
I didn't even know the KSI. I didn't know KSI was coming back like that.
Yeah, fam.
So then you take KSI. So they trying to build to do KSI versus one of the Paul brothers, yeah?
Well, thing is, yeah, I saw Eddie Hearn saying that, he needs to stay away from Jake Paul, bro. He goes, it'll be a big fight numbers-wise, but Jake Paul's been in the gym. Like, he's been taking this thing serious, whereas KSI is not. And it's the truth, bro. KSI, he's not in there with Jake Paul, bro. What Jake Paul looks like now, it's not how he started out. So whatever beef they got in their mind, delete that.
Yeah. He's actually, from a salesman thing, he's good, He's good.
Dude.
Do you see that little clip of him being on the hospital table?
Bro, I got it here, It's so mad. I could just play it. But it's actually so mad.
Play it, man. Play it. It's funny as hell, bro.
Say no more,
this is wicked. This is brilliant.
All right, Jake, I'm filming.
So, guys, I'm in the hospital. I had an accident. I'm still going to be able to fight August 6th, so get your tickets at msg.com before they sell out. But I broke my back carrying the promotion for this event. It's broken.
Oh, Jake, you good?
Nurse!
Jake,
Nurse, more morphine!
Oh, my God.
I broke my back carrying the last 5 fights promotion. My opponents never sell shit.
Something.
Oh, it hurts!
Do something.
It hurts! These motherfuckers never sell shit! They couldn't sell a pen to a writer!
He's so WWE, fam.
I don't care what anyone says. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Nah, because it does evoke an emotion. Because if you're fighting, be like, Rush, true, I don't even sell. Like, I'm trash.
I've only got 15 comps.
It does. It elevates his thing. Again, he's a name. He's a name, and shamelessly, boxers want to fight him for the payday. Yeah. Shamelessly, he's put himself into a position like Tommy Fury just wants to slap himself all the time because he knows he should have just done it. He should have had that fight when it was obviously at the rib situation. He probably wouldn't have got in the country then. I don't even know what that guy's thinking, to be honest. But
he's mad.
What Jake Paul's done or doing in boxing, you just kind of look on from, and he's different to the other YouTubers fighting. There's been YouTubers fighting for time now. It's a real division. It's a real thing. No one cares, but he is the one that's kind of remaining.
But that's because he's taking it seriously though. Like he's fighting UFC fighters, bro. Let's really look at that one here. Those YouTubers could not do what he's done in terms of those guys that he's stepping in there with. Them men would smoke those guys. He's getting better and better. Like he's got a camp that is like it's an actual camp. BJ Flores and those guys, like they're serious. He's having professional sparring partners. Like it's not like how he used to approaching this thing. So for me, I look at him like, you might have started out together, but accept that something's changed. This brother stayed on it. KSI, leave that brother alone. Leave that brother alone. That's not for you, bro. So we have to talk about Adrien Broner. Bro, was he disrespected? Them making him do the Zoom press conference. Was that a mad thing? He feels he's disrespected, but it's like, let's be real. When did Adrien Broner last fight, man? Like, I understand. No, I'm not saying he deserves Zoom, but they're probably looking at it like, how much investment are we gonna really give? Like, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, his last fight was what, February 2021? Yeah. Not actually, see, year and a bit ago. Before that, 2019.
It's because he doesn't try. It's because he doesn't even try when he comes out. His performance is very Zoom-like, if that makes sense. Zoom would be an adequate thing to give him because he just doesn't care. He turns up. He's like, it's a lot of talk.
A lot of talk.
There's
And
a
he comes
whatever
in.
energy about him.
Yeah, it doesn't throw punches. Doesn't seem like he's taking boxing that serious. So I think it's a reflection of what he's given to boxing, the effort. It's that whole thing in like you've kind of showed that your effort is not at 100. Your output's not really look like how it's as it's been advertised. You know what I mean? He was the second coming of Floyd at one point, which sounds mad to say now, but that's who Broner was. I was excited because of like, yeah, Floyd retires, we got this guy. So
And
yeah,
and you know what's so funny? Funny enough, still to this moment, the reason why he comes off the live is because he says, "You'd never do this to Floyd." So he hasn't even deep that
that's different.
we're very different as individuals. Like
Yeah,
our careers and how we are, we're too. Yeah, maybe you were entertaining and you could build up a press conference, but we're incredibly different. And maybe the people like because New York will show up anytime he was fighting. American fans will pull up to watch Broner. I don't know if it's really ringing off. I don't know if Maestro is going to pay the 70 for the for this fight.
When we really look at Broner's career, it's actually quite a sad story the way this thing has gone. And it's like, you know, he does have some issues outside the ring that he's been dealing with financially, and you know, just in personal. Like, there's a lot of like police, like trials and jail and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's a lot going on in his world. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like he did have the minerals to become something better than he is. So, you know, you go from that whole thing of standing next to Floyd, and then you see Gervonta Davis come up, you see Devin Haney come up, and they all seem to have Floyd's respect, and you're kind of there. And it's like from the outside, you could look at it in a comical way, like, oh man, look at that. Why is Floyd's opinion mean so much? But let's be real, Floyd is the Michael Jordan or the Muhammad Ali of this era to these fighters. So when Floyd is around you, that's huge. You see what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, to now lose his respect or feel like he's lost it, I reckon that's essentially had a bigger impact on him than, you know, he might reveal.
Do you think there's ever a space where he can like get it right and then like another coming of Broner again? Do you think, or that's just over? Like, there's no way.
I think it's done, man. I mean, at what weight is this happening? 147, or where Crawford is, and Spence. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe at 140. 140 would be his best bet. I don't know if he can make 140 now. I don't know what weight this fight is at, actually, to be fair. But it's like it's that one where you just kind of, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's got left.
It's a good fight. I've heard Conor talk about Broner a few times.
Yeah, because he thinks he trusts his chances against him. So do I, to be honest.
So that's what I'm saying. Do you think, like, I kind of want him to come through this fight just so, like, Conor taking that next is not bad. It's still avoiding the mandem. It's still avoiding all them lot, because at some point you have to open the door. At some point you're gonna have to go and see all of them dons, and there's no easy route to that. There's no like safe route as well. It's just
because someone like Ennis has got the attention of Crawford. Crawford said, look, man, like if the time comes down the line and it makes sense for him and that's what, then yeah, let's get it. You don't know what I'm about. But the fact that Crawford is speaking on Ennis is letting him know that it's like, okay, cool, I see you in the rear view. You're there.
Your hair. No, your hair. Like, I'm watching your fights actually. I'm really seeing you. Yeah, I gotta get through my man. I gotta beat Errol. Do you know what I mean?
Then we can talk.
Then we might have to talk still. But again, that would be a nice fight for Crawford, though. They say that, you know, I've done it. I've done it. Now I can just step away. Yeah, bro. Listen,
the game is interesting. Last point, just to think of like going forward for next week. Yeah, the broadcasting has not been announced for the AJ fight, bro. As much as everyone's saying Sky has got it, bro, nothing started. We are like a month away, and nothing has started promo-wise. Like, it's really eerily quiet.
Yes.
There's a mess. The undercard is getting weird as well. Badu Jack, bro.
They pulled out Badu.
Badu Jack, bro.
There's no money in the pot. There's no money in the pot.
Bro, when you spend all your money on the shirt, the shoes will suffer.
Badu Jack for real. Go on, tell me, is there any other names on there?
Here's my theory on this. Yeah, I'm looking left and right. All right, let's talk. If the Zone have lost the AJ fight, Sky have to broadcast it, right? So who's the one that's organizing the card? Eddie Hearn. So now man's thinking, all right, so you're not going to broadcast this year? Cool. I'm not going to make this thing action-packed. I'm not going to make it action-packed. No way. I'm going to make it one of those stinkers. So that way, yeah. So that way you don't even benefit from the views up until the fight starts. If we're going to do petty, Eddie said, let's really do petty. Bro, can you imagine? And not that. Here's where it's even more techier. Pro Bellum. Buddy Jackals with Pro Bellum. And obviously, there's all them things going on. Sky had a whole situation where fighters had to declare that they're not with Pro Bellum. So Eddie's like, that's your undercard. That's your chief support. You wait till the Daily Sport get a load of this, Sky Sports.
I don't kill me. No.
Bro, I'm here for petty. I'm always here for stuff.
Yes.
This is just my speculation.
Eddie Hearn will still give us a good undercard. He's known to still
even a Callum Smith and a Coley, Usyk, the first one, we had vibes. This time around, boy. Buddy Jack, he ain't even with man. You go fight someone. I can probably get on the undercard, bro.
I remember Buddy Jack fighting the girl, bro. Like when Buddy Jack was still. This is insane.
We could find an undercard. I'm sure we could. I'm gonna send Eddie a DM today and just see if
send him a DM and say but we want money. Though. We're gonna get paid. To get us, we're gonna get paid. So I don't think they could afford us, Travis.
Yeah, true. And again, what's left in the pot now?
It's too much views as well. Let's be honest. Again, these are two undefeated fighters, bro. Chatting it up, but we're actually firing it up. Getting in the ring and doing a podcast for 12 rounds is crazy.
In 3-minute segments. Every round, a different topic. No, that's crazy, bro. Do you know how angry the tweets? I wouldn't even want to check the tweets. They would be horrendously raged.
Shut it up. Well, get into the corner and having to have water in that. Water and advice.
Oh my days. Your trainers giving you nonsense advice talking about, listen, if you believe in your point, go for it. Like, don't let KG interrupt you. Speak confidently, take your time, and don't be afraid to pause. Oh my days.
Oh man, listen. People, hope you've enjoyed this one. Again, for the first time listeners, welcome. For the people that are never going to listen again, big up. Thanks for being here, fam.
Peace.
We appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, man, share the thing. And yeah, man.
Guys,
speak to you
soon.
Have a great
week. We'll see you on Monday.
Peace. Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.